this type of form. Print between brackets. You can print it even with brackets or without brackets. You can do x, you can assign a tuple to 1, 2, 3, and you can print x, get a tuple. You can't reassign the variable, because once you assign it to a variable, that variable is being fixed to that tuple. You can't reassign, or you can't check an individual. For example, if you can say, if you say 2, it will give you return to you false. We can define a function, and if we want to print x, and if we say, we give it an argument x, because we have the x is here, is being defined already 1, 2, 3, it will just take it in here because we assign it to a tuple, so it becomes fixed, and you get your tuple. We can even check the class of the tuple, so we can be like the type of the tuple, and you can check again and you get the type, it's a tuple. Also, you can assign, if you didn't have that variable, you can assign the tuple, but you need to put it between brackets, because otherwise if you put it like 1, 2, 3, it will understand that you have 3 arguments, which is wrong. It will give you an error. So that's why you need to tell it, you tell the function that it is tuple, and you'll get your tuple back. The list is different. The different is, the list can take different type of values. For example, if we say 5, 1, 3.14, it's float an integer, and also if we put string, so another 9, and if we put tuple in the list, it's fine. You can do that in the list because it takes different type of values. Let's check the type, double check the type again, so make sure we're correct. Okay, so the type of the list is the type of this variable, now it's list. Let's assign different type of tuple. Let's say if you wanna, from this tuple, we wanna take the minimum. What's the minimum number we have here? It will give us 2. The maximum, it will give us 10. And for example, let's say we have different type of tuple, which let's say if we have name, we get like Bob, Charlie, Alice. So we have tuple of 3 names. If you want to get the minimum name, what we will get, because it will sort it in the background alphabetically, so you will get Alice because you are descending. So you are ascending from the lowest to the greatest. But you can't do a sum, because see, if you do a sum for x, it's fine, but if you want to do a sum for name, it will give you an error, because to do a sum you need numbers. You can also join the tuples. For example, if you have different values like this, you can join them. The way you can join them, like you use the join function, and you say name. Here I said I want to join it without anything in between, so you get them like this, all without no spaces. But if you want to get space, you just put space and you get them joined in one string. So let's check our x. We have our x. Let's say if we want to count the position, because we know in Python it's a convention that Python starts from 0, so that's the position 0, 1, and 2, and 3. So let's say if we wanna count, oh sorry, I will revise back what I did in the beginning for positions. It's a mistake. I want to count. So if I want to count, I want to count each value. For example, how many times the 8 is being occurred, how many times the 2 is being occurred, and so on. So if I said, okay, the 8, it's been there only once, and so on. And if I want to find the position, as I mentioned earlier, I use index. For example, if I wanted the index of 7, as I mentioned earlier, it's a convention that it starts from 0. So because it's the first position, you get 7 as a 0. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And if I want to get the index 10 of x, because you need to tell it which index, which list you are working on, you have to put the dot and multiply it. So it's 3, and so on. Now, how to retrieve values from a tuple using the index? Like if we know the position, how we retrieve that certain values. For example, let's say we have names. Okay, we have Bob, Charlie, Mike, Alice. So I make it a bit long, so for demonstration it will be easier, hopefully. So done. So we have these names, and we want we know that the position is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you want the first element, so it will be like names, and we use these brackets, the square brackets. And if you want the first one, and we'll type the position because we know it's the first one, and you get Bob. If you want to get names, if you want number 5, see, you'll get down the last one. If you don't know what's the number of the position of certain element, for example, let's say this element is hidden, but you know that value or element is there, so you can say names dot index, and you put the value that you know about, and you try to find it. It tells you that the position is 2, because when you come in here, 0, 1, and 2. Yeah. So let's say if you have a repeated name, for example, the same this list, and put it in here, but we have 2 mics. Which one it will give us? Let's say we want to find the index for one of the mics, if you want to find for this one or for this one. So you come here, names. Let's check the first, which one it will give us first. Index mic. To give us 2, it gives us the first one. But if I want it to give us the second one, I need to tell Python to start from here, which is 0, 1, and 2, and 3. I want it to start from the third element. So how we can do that is you put names, use the same index and the same mic, but we know the function, it usually has 2 arguments, so you put the second argument here, start from 3, and you'll get the second element position. And if you want to know the last item in the list, you say names between brackets and -1. And if you want, there's something called slicing. if you want to slice this list, you want to have certain element. You don't want to just get one element. So names, you slice, you say, for example, from 1 to the 3rd. So the first argument here, the first element is always included, and the second it's always excluded. Like let's say from here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it says from 0, 0, 1, it will start from here, 2 and 3, and it will finish up here. So this will be, it starts from here and finish from here, because the third one will be excluded. So let's see. This is how you get the slice. And also, if you want to get the rest of the element, for example, if you want to ignore the first 2 or first 1 or something like that, so the way you can do it, you just add one argument. You say like start from 2 and give me the rest. That's it. And you will get the rest at the end of the tuple. You can exclude one element. You can put it here, and you put it in the second argument in the other side. See here, we started from, because that's the start and the finish. You say the finish is number 5. You're gonna exclude that. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about for loop. For loop is very useful, like especially if you wanna iterate through this kind of tuple or list and try to do some certain operations. For example, let's say for we have the list is here. We'll use the same list names just to make sure that it's in front of us, make it easy for you. Names, and we say let's say we want to print something that is similar to the number of this tuple. So for n number, but usually they put n for short, but let's see here as a number. Names, for n number in names, like how many of the names, print, let's say hello. So it will go through the list and it will print the same number of the list. The good thing about it is, because when you print hello, and you can add something like names, so you print the hello and you print the names as well at the same time. Let's see. Oh, instead of printing the list, that is a mistake, because you printed the list 5 times. So it's better, because we did the for loop, you say number and you print them individually. Okay. And if you want to print same, you can use the slice and dice here in the names. For example, if you want to print, you want to exclude Dan, for example, so you come in here and you exclude Dan, you exclude him. Or you want to go from second element to the 5th element, which is without Dan, and you will get these people. So that is another way to use slice and dice with for loop. So let's say if you want to put them in order, let's do it again for number in names. Let's see if it's working first. Make sure it's this code is correct. Number. So if you want to sort it in order, because you see B, C, M, A, if you want to sort them, we can add something called generators. For example, we have sorted. It's all built-in functions in Python, which just makes it very handy. So you get sorted one. if you want a reverse, you can reverse it as well. You can reverse, from bottom to top, from Dan, Mike, AM, and so on. But if you wanna, you can also reverse and sort, but it's not the best way, but it's more complicated, but let's leave it like this. Or another thing is you can use reverse as a second argument. For example, you can use sorted and you go to names and you put the second argument as a reverse equal true, so you get it from the highest to the lowest. So SMMDCBA. So this is how you play around with the tuples. Thank you very much for watching this reminder in Python. Hope you find it useful.